Hello, everybody. This is the Big Kahuna,
And Eliza Austin,
and you are listening to the Outer Haven Report.
Halloween edition.
Welcome, everyone, to our first official video blog. We are so happy to have you here, and my lord, do we have things to talk about. This is Halloween 2017, and unless you've been living underneath a rock or in some type of non-Wi-Fi zone, everybody, their brother, and their hamster knows about the series that just came out recently. Yes, I'm talking about Stranger Things Season 2.
Ooh, so good.
And I tell you what, if you were not one of the several million people that sat there and binge watched that sucker over the course of 1 to 2 days, you're really missing out, because there's absolutely no way in heck you're going to avoid every single spoiler about this amazingly well done show. And you know what? We're not going to do any spoilers here because, well, you don't want to hear about Eleven turning into a rat that gets fairy wings and uses the magical power of friendship to destroy all darkness and turn the city of Hawkins into New Smallville.
Don't tell anymore. These people, if they haven't seen it yet, must be living in the Upside Down. So they're going to have to find out for themselves.
Yes, yeah. Well, the Upside Down did get renamed, remember. It's now considered Cleveland.
Oh, right. My bad.
It's its proper name, if anybody's ever seen the show. Now, obviously all that is fake, or is it? But in all honesty, the show, I'm not sure who they hid for all these years that will allow such a great show to be produced all of a sudden, where they haven't done it for so many years. This guy must have been some producer that hid in the back closet of Paramount or something, and only let him out once every 23 years, like, the Creeper.
It's two brothers.
Well, I'm talking about the guy who let the two brothers actually have a show.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, I mean, these brothers, I can't remember their name offhand, but I will put it in the title screen here. The brothers did an amazing job with this series. I watched the first season because you're talking about, it's a sci-fi retro that has kids, and anybody who grew up in the 80s like we did, we grew up watching Goonies, we grew up watching The Explorers, Fly the Navigator, any number of other really good shows out there. Okay, they can't see you raise your hand. We're on a...
I haven't seen any of those movies.
Wow.
Not any of them. Sorry.
Well, I've seen them all in triplicate, so I guess I'm seeing for both of us then.
Okay.
But honestly, anybody who grew up in the 80s, just in general, the age was when electronics really started coming home for people. We had Walkmans just coming out, the portable Walkman radios, which, for you millennials out there and everything, well, I guess we wouldn't be not too far from us, but, it's a thing that we used to use before we had cell phones.
Yep.
Which, that reminds me, actually, I saw a Verizon commercial on Facebook the other day for when the original bag phones came out. And those who got them in the 90s, remember the bag phones, where you can get a phone that was for $400 off for the low price of like $1,300. And it includes a Verizon plan and all the needed accessories, and have people walking around with this giant suitcase strapped around their shoulder, holding a phone the size of a small Buick. And it was so nice and easy to connect. And I remember holding one of those, and you might as well be strapping a giant boulder to your back and trying to talk through a tin can. You probably got better reception that way. But God, I miss those days.
Alright, well, while you're missing those days, you know what we should talk about?
What's that?
It's Halloween time. So what is important to talk about right now other than all these Halloween classic movies? But first, before we get into all those favorite classics, why don't we talk about the premiere of Jeepers Creepers 3?
Oh, man. Okay. So, for those of you who might not know the full story on this, Jeepers Creepers 3 was supposed to be released in theaters, I believe this year, actually. And the director, well, some things came to light about his offset activities, and let's just say he pretty much got ran out of Hollywood on a jet plane. It's a family blog.
Right. You can look it up online.
Let's just say the creature he made way too far off from the creator. But we watched it because it was on Sci-Fi at 9 p.m. yesterday, so I watched the premiere and was not entirely happy with it. Now, before
Wait. That's an understatement.
Okay, before we go into this, let me make this very clear. This review has two parts. The first part I'm going to talk about was the good things about Jeepers Creepers 3. For one,
You know
they
what?
actually put together 2 hours of sci-fi time worth of film.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I think you can totally cut out the good parts because there weren't any. And just skip
The
to
special effects for what they were
No, they weren't.
were very well done.
No.
It wasn't some type of pixelated mess like we seen with the
I would have liked that
Easter
better.
Bunny
It would
monster.
have looked nostalgic. This is just a train wreck and a disaster.
Okay, you know what? I can't sugarcoat the thing. It was absolute horse
I
doo-doo.
love me a good Jeepers Creepers movie. That creeps me out. I admit I cannot make it through the whole thing. I gotta watch it in segments. This one, I couldn't even watch like part of it because it was just stupid. It didn't tie it together. The creature just looked kind of like, what's that, Hellraiser, but green. And just, it was just bad. It was bad. There was no, the legend wasn't there properly. There's just no, I don't have anything good to say about it. I'm very disappointed. Sci-Fi generally does a good job. The fact that they would pick this up, put this piece of trash out there and run with it and premiere it like it was going to be some epic thing really disappoints me.
Okay, you do realize you're talking about the same people who came up with Sharknado.
Yeah, well,
Which,
that's become a cult classic though. I mean, people watch that for the disaster that it is. It's just ridiculous. And people watch it, and I mean, they're on what, number 5?
I lost count. You know, I just know David Hasselhoff was in it, and they did not kill him off in the way that I would liked.
Anyway, enough about that. That's a whole different segment.
Yeah, that'd be for another day when Sharknado, we're still making movies, comes out.
Let's just... Sorry to cut you off, dear. Let's just say this about Jeepers Creepers 3. We don't recommend it. Watch at your own risk. And don't say we didn't tell you.
All right, let's put Jeepers Creepers 3 into a proper context. Because I know some of you are going to be like me, like, oh, but I love the first 2 films, and they have all this new technology they can do things with, and it's like supposed to be a new stuff or a new, couple movies. Guess what they did? They took probably about 20 different scripts, put them in the cheapest food processor and or blender they can find, maybe just some guy with a Ginsu knife, chopped everything up, took some super glue, some sparkly glue sticks.
No,
not
there's no
sparkly glue
sparkle.
sticks.
No.
Well, they took some really cheap rubber cement that they pull out the back of somebody's truck, and they posted something together and they filmed it.
Yep.
Or I'm not sure they didn't film it. There might be a whole bunch of kids with their iPhones or something. I mean,
honestly, as they went along, they were like going along. They had a basic run-of-the-mill horror movie, and then they were like, "Oh crap, we forgot to throw in legends. Oh crap, we forgot to throw in something creepy. I mean, it looked like there was like, oh crap moments, like, at certain points.
Insert
and
horror
they would
here.
just insert something that didn't tie into anything else, run through that a little bit, and then move on. And you'd never see a mention of it again.
And we're not about any kind of spoilers in this blog. If you want spoilers, go to Looper or one of those other blogs or sites. But I'm gonna tell you this: Jeepers Creepers. Okay, anybody who's seen the previews, knows this already. You expect a Jeepers Creeper movie to have one thing pretty much guaranteed: nighttime creepy stalking.
Yep.
This was the Jeeper Creepers that was coincided with Call of Duty. I mean, this guy went out like he was doing dual barrel shotguns on, free-for-all match using some type of God code.
Yep.
It was absolutely insane. And if you guys, want to have some comments about this, you think we're wrong or we're full of it or something, please leave us a comment in the section. I will gladly fight with you on this, because this movie was nothing but trash. I'm just hoping I can save maybe one or two people the pain and misery of watching that film.
Keep in mind, that's our opinion. And the most disturbing thing about this movie to me was the sideways nose. That is all I'm going to say is that's going to never leave me, and it reminded me of a Michael Jackson hack job. That is all.
Now, another movie that we happened to watch yesterday was Cult of Chucky. Now, a lot of people who know horror movies, especially cult classics, you're all familiar with the killer doll named Chucky. You might not know the details, but pretty much, it's a doll that comes to life, and he's all friendly, and, reminds you of, Teddy Robson or something. He wants to be your friend. He wants to do this. He wants to do that. He wants your hugs. He'll be there forever. He wants to murder you and your entire family. Oh, wait a minute. I don't remember the last part. That's Chucky. And they, for whatever reason, decide to pull Jennifer Tilly out of what should have been retirement, throw a whole paint load of makeup on her, and use a new Chucky doll, which I think he had been the creepiest one I've ever seen yet. I personally think so. I think that him having that rubbery face that looks like something that he was seeing on Cher was just really bad.
No, I'm sorry, dear. I have to disagree. The one where he got married, that was very disturbing.
I liked that one because that was campy and they knew it.
This was just... There was a whole cult of them. Again, another... Okay, I saw it and carry on with my life.
Now,
let's talk about the good stuff. Let's get to a good horror movie that we enjoy.
Well, let's finish this one up here because I got to tell her, hey, people are listening to us, they're interested in this. And I'm going to keep this one pretty brief because Call of Chucky was forgettable. And they had so many elements in that film that could have made such an amazing horror film. And it had a couple scenes that you watch and go, oh, wow, that is so well done. And then they do something in the next scene that makes me go, huh? And the ending was... your basic, we want to make more money, so we're going to leave it open-ended and do a bunch of crazy stuff.
I was disappointed. It could have wrapped up way different. I was disappointed in the ending, honestly. Tom, Kahuna.
Big Kahuna.
Sorry.
Now they know my real name.
Sorry.
What do I ever do? Do not look at my website and contact information.
Enjoyed it. I, however, had lost interest about 3/4 of the way through, and... I didn't even care about the ending.
Well, let me fix something on here, because enjoying the movie is putting it very... Okay, that's not quite what I would say. I come from a group of B-movie watchers.
Me too.
That, me, Danny, and Josh, Samurai he's on the site here a lot of times too. We all would watch horror movies with a lot of our friends, and they'd be the worst movies you ever seen. I mean, absolutely horrific. Santa Claus versus the Martians is like one of the movies that we had to watch in a group and have therapy for together to get through the film. Not the Mystery Science Theater version, but we don't leave a movie unwatched once you start it unless it like completely dissolves in the DVD player or VCR decides to eat it. I had to know how it ends, or else tell myself not to make my own ending or something like they did in Futurama for the one episode that was destroyed. Now, I had to know how it ended. Now, I didn't cook a meal during this movie because I just like, okay, whatever. But I want to know at least how it ended.
Wait. I'm sorry. Not to be contradictory through this whole thing. Wife cooked the meal, husband dished up the meal. Thank you. Carry on.
Okay, well, it felt like a long time in that kitchen away from that movie. That's what it does. It bends time.
Yeah.
Now, if you guys want to watch that one, it's a heck of a lot better than Jeepers Creepers 3.
Yeah.
I would say on a scale of, 1 being, burn it with fire, and 10 being this is the most amazing film straight from God's vault, I give it like a 4.
I'm gonna give it a 2.5.
Jeepers Creepers 3, I give a 1.
Yeah, I'm there. I probably in my life I could live my whole life through and never think of either of those movies again and be just fine with that. Alright, now seriously, let's move on and talk about some of our favorite, because not only is October time for pumpkin pie everything, but it's also Pumpkinhead season!
Oh,
Woot!
the wonderment and amazement
I love
that
me
is
some Pumpkinhead.
Lance Hendrickson at his very, very best. Short of him playing Bishop in Aliens and Alien 3, which would be a completely different conversation. Yes, Pumpkinhead. Now, if you somehow have not seen Pumpkinhead, I highly suggest going to Amazon and get yourself a copy immediately for overnight shipping. You will not be disappointed. Now, the basis of the Pumpkinhead was a creature that is born of vengeance. He's a demon that lives in a pumpkin patch, and if someone's been wronged, they can essentially sell their soul to a witch, and they bring forth the force of nature that is Pumpkinhead.
And he is good.
Oh man, I mean, it has every single element of a great horror film, and surprisingly, it's not overly gory as it could have been. It does have gore, don't get me wrong. I mean, Pumpkinhead is a slasher. He is a
squasher and a stomper
and he's kind of like a Terminator, as in he does not stop. Nothing can really stop him, period.
Nope.
And he has a face that only a mother could love when she's very, very drunk.
Oh, I love him. Oh, I love Pumpkinhead.
And it's one of Stan Winston's best creatures. The first movie came out, I believe, in the 80s and had Lance Hendrickson as the star. And, like toward the end of the movie, even, the special effects were, I mean, you could not beat it. And they just don't make movies like that anymore. Now, you're talking about the same time period as The Thing, and I believe the original Hellraiser even came out around the same time period, Clive Barker's film. So this is back when gore and all that was really, really coming into its golden age. But they just pulled it off so well, and they did make 3 sequels that I can think of offhand. The second one being Blood Wings, and there's 2 other ones which just weren't as good, but, you can never get enough Pumpkinhead.
I agree.
So if you got a chance, go out there, see Pumpkinhead. I said we're not going to give any spoilers, but I can tell you this. A lot of people get killed by Pumpkinhead. And I mean a lot.
Yep, but they got it coming, and it's awesome.
Absolutely, yeah. There's not a single person that's killed in that film that does not deserve it. And to quote Arnold Schwarzenegger from True Lies, they were all really, really bad.
Yep. All right, let's talk about... Oh, where to start? We love Sleepaway Camp. We love
Sleepaway Camp. Let's stop right there with that one. Now, Sleepaway Camp is probably the craziest horror film I've ever seen. The original Sleepaway Camp is kind of near and dear to our hearts because it was filmed right here in Ohio. At least parts of it were filmed here.
Yep.
Right up the road from us, actually, in the old Geauga Lake campgrounds. And sadly, we can no longer get up there, or I'll be so doing a video tour. But the cops get a little angry about the trespassing thing, and I don't want to have to pay for bail again this year. But
Whatever. Just kidding.
yeah, I've never been arrested in my life. I don't plan on having that start. But if I ever get a drone, it's on.
Definitely take the time to see Sleepaway Camp if you get the chance. Definitely worth it. There are several movies, and
Yes.
they're really good. They're very campy, very 80s, 90s. Just
80s to the 90s, and you have to watch them in order. Now, some people are going to say, "Oh, you should watch the sequel or something. It's so much better." No, the sequel won't make any sense unless you watch the first one. And even though it's going to seem really, really stupid at some points, if you watch it all the way to the end, you'll see exactly why it's such a cult classic.
You want to. You'll get hooked. You won't see yourself getting hooked. You won't want to get hooked. The next thing you know, you are still in the same space 3 or 4 movies later.
It's like you'll be sitting on your couch going, "What the heck is wrong with me? Why do I want to watch more of this? Why isn't more movies like this? Why do I enjoy this stuff? Why do I eat all this popcorn?"
Ooh, popcorn. That sounds good. I'm sorry. Okay, let's talk about... Okay, so make sure, kids out there, guys and ghouls, find those, check those out. Next, let's talk about good old Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger. I love all these classic horror movies. I can't get into Saw. I don't like that much blood and gore.
Yeah.
But I like a good teenage angst, running with terror. Somebody interrupting my dreams, coming out of the lake to torture me. Those are good times.
Yeah, we have a saying here in the Outer Haven studio: nothing good ever comes out of the woods.
Yep.
And anybody who's ever seen these films, like I've watched just about every single, if not every one of the Jason Voorhees Friday the 13th films. Now, I will admit I did not watch the first 2 movies until actually last year. And now it's because I didn't have access to them. Netflix had them on one day, and I realized, oh yeah, I need to watch these. Because I never knew Jason had anything but a hockey mask. Which, I think I started out when I was probably in the late 90s, as a teenager watching, Friday the 13th 3, I think it was the first movie I watched. And really good film. And oh man, I love the Nightmare on Elm Street. And also they got Michael Myers, who is, he's a juggernaut. He's like Jason, but he has more personality. And anybody who can pull off a white William Shatner mask and still be scary as hell, come on. And we all love Jamie Lee Curtis. We understand why he's completely obsessed with her. But I think we're all a little obsessed a little bit differently. We love her work. We don't want to actually stab her to death.
Are we talking about Halloween now?
Yeah. Oh. Michael Myers.
I didn't know this. I just realized when you just said that I am dumb. Please excuse me. I'm trying to earn my nerd stripes, but I am not there yet. And I did not know that was a William Shatner mask, so please excuse my ignorance. Now,
let me explain something here for our listeners. Outer Haven Media is the safe haven for all nerd kind. Outer Haven is a place where everybody can be themselves without judgment, and we strive to give you a voice and make you shine in whatever light fits you best. And we're all staffed by techs, nerds, geeks, everybody of an artistic and a technical nature. Now, that does not make us all nerds. Myself, being the Big Kahuna, I'm the king of the nerds. I made this company with nerddom in mind, and even the name itself comes from Metal Gear Solid and also from Haven, which is an amazing sci-fi show. Rest in peace, Duke. Now, Christy, also known as Eliza Austin, is new to this fandom. me and her started dating, she was a closet nerd, and I have been slowly over the last 4 years bringing her out, to see all that is nerddom. Now she does watch Star Wars. Haven't got her into Star Trek yet. It's a long-term goal, but she has such a love for Pumpkinhead and Jaws. Come on. Anybody who watches every single Jaws movie can quote it going through the movie for the edited and also original releases. It's definitely a nerd that is worthy of praise. Now, everybody out there, it doesn't matter, if you're just coming in to nerddom, if you're a gamer, if you're a, like a sci-fi show lover, if you like Spike TV just to see some of the crazy old horror movies or something, we accept everybody. And with that, there is so many different horror movies. Like, if you love horror movies, we welcome you. If you watch the horror movie, which I can't remember the name of because it was absolutely horrific, with a giant bump, jumping supposed Easter bunny that looked like a rat that was taxidermied and then had rabbit ears attached to it and spray painted pink, we welcome you too. Now, I've seen so many movies out there. I'm like, one of my old favorites actually is another one that's great for this time of year, Donnie Darko.
Never seen that one either.
Yeah, so that one, it doesn't get a whole lot of play like it should, but it was a mental sci-fi, but it had so many horror elements, and it had the craziest costume you've ever seen in your life. You ever see somebody walking around in a dark gray rabbit suit that has the funky looking teeth and the big round eyes? Then that's Donnie Darko. The rabbit has a name. I can't remember what it is, but it was just such a really, really good film. But right now, guys, I do thank every single one of you for listening to us. Now, we will be doing a written blog that Eliza will be putting up onto our webpage, which is ourouterhaven.com/blog. That will have all kinds of wonderful nerd food you can have while you're watching these movies. And this is just the first of our blog series that we're going to be doing here on the Outer Haven Report. With Halloween, I figure it would be the best time to do this. And, coming up, with Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up, there's so many movies we can come up with. And for those of you who are going to write in, oh, why did you cover this movie or that? They're like, oh, you should have done Gremlins. Okay, let me get you started on talking about Gremlins real quick. Gremlins, as much as it's a horror movie, and I love Gizmo, he's staring at me right now from top of my video cabinet. I kid you not, he's right there next to a rabbit and some Xenomorphs. Gremlins is a Christmas movie. And when it comes to Christmas, Gremlins is so going on the list. But for right now, this is Big Kahuna.
And Eliza Austin.
And we will see you out there in Outer Haven.